Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball, Game7Baseball.com. Today on the show, we've got another GAC preview. We're heading to the north.
Yes, sir. With
head coach Nuru Allen, St. Charles West Warriors. Coach, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. This is our, what now? Fourth? Third year?
At least third. I feel like I've been here a lot. I think it's four. I think it's four, actually.
We got out to your place last year. Yeah. Had a nice game. You guys, you dropped it to Pattonville. I know you were salty about that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Seems like when you guys show up, we decide to play the worst.
Oh, mercy. Well, we were at the G.A.C. Classic. I think you guys won that one.
Nope.
Did you lose that one, too?
We lost that one as well.
Who'd you lose?
We lost to Orchard Farm.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're 0-2 when you guys show up. But you're welcome to our place anytime.
Yeah, but you're welcome to come.
Yeah.
Mister. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. That's all good. Hey, you never know, though. You just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, Coach, you guys finished 6-4 in the GAC North. Tough conference. I mean, we were talking about that just before we started. You were 16-15 overall.
Yep.
Had a good run in your district, right?
Yes. Yep.
And so, overall, I think you got off to a slow start.
Yeah.
Last year. Mm-hmm. I remember that. You were struggling earlier. You found your footing. You found some opportunities, and you had a good run.
Yeah. I mean, last year I think the record doesn't indicate how good of a team we were.
I agree.
We were 6-4 in conference. Like you said, our conference, I feel like on the GAC North is probably one of the more underrated out of the three. You got the two conferences that got the powerhouses and all that stuff. But on our side of the conference, we've got a lot of good teams. And, when you're going out there knowing that, hey, you're going to have to battle each time and you got to play your A game, you'll get exposed. And that's exactly what happened for our 6-4. There was a couple games there. Record-wise, the worst team in our conference at that time was Orchard Farm. And they swept us. And that proved costly for us to lose the conference. But you go up and down our conference. They, with Orchard Farm to High to North Point to Warrenton and Winfield, everybody's got something. And, I mean, this year I think it's going to be one of the better conferences in our area, out of not just only in the GACs, but throughout our
throughout the metro area, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree. You lost, of course, Drew Blassing game, Barrett Disselhorst, Kyle Quinn, Jackson Mears to graduation. You got some guys, though. You got some dudes coming back.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about these guys, but Noah Gramling, Carson Quinn, the seniors, I should say, and Dylan Schooler, Nate Suisse. It is pronounced Suisse, correct? Cease. I mess that up every time.
Yeah.
I think I did that last year, didn't I?
I think they'd rather go with Cease or Suisse than Seuss. I truly believe if you call them Seuss, instead
of Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, that'll be a little bit of an issue.
I got you. And so let's get into this a little bit. I always like to start, and we've talked about these things, pitching. I think, that's where it's at, right? The mound. And I think that's where you kind of got off to a slower start last year.
Yes. Was
with pitching. But three names, guys that filled innings for you last year. One, of course, Brennan Goring. He had a 3.0 ERA, 44 in the third innings pitched. Adam Kalk had a 5.73, 36 2/3. Brady Kilker, 28 innings pitched, a 5.75 ERA. I'd imagine those are your three guys.
Yeah, especially obviously with BG, he's going to be our guy. And then right now we've got Kalk, which we weren't expecting him to do what he did. I know the 5 point something ERA is not great, but if you really dig into kind of situations he was put in and what we asked for him for a sophomore coming in there, I thought he did a phenomenal job. And I think he's put in the work in the weight room, and he's kind of got the buy-in where I'm expecting for those numbers to be even better. Not expecting him to, shut down things or anything else, but the game that you saw him pitch against Pattonville, he gave us a chance to win.
Yes, he did.
There was a lot of times where our defense didn't, hold up behind him, but he's going to be a type of kid that we can throw out there knowing that we're going to have a chance to win every single time. And that's the same thing with Brady Kilker. Brady Kilker's he's kind of a bulldog. He was, he had to go face some of the tougher teams that we faced, and some games he won, some games he didn't. He was put in a situation when we played in the Jeff City Classic, and he pitched 6 2/3 innings against Troy and ended up winning that game. Then he started a couple games against Zumwalt East, and he won. And so he's the type of kid that I know that I could throw out there, and he's going to battle and give us everything he has in that situation. And we put him in tough situations where we face St. Dom. There was a week where we had Zumwalt North, St. Dominic, and we had John Burroughs.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we went 0-3 that week. But that doesn't tell the story. That was almost the turning point of our season. The Zumwalt North game got away from us with our pitching and just how we came into the game. And so then we played St. Dominic, and we kind of challenged guys, we need to see what we're made of. We're trying to prepare for districts, conferences out the window. What are we going to do when we get to that second season? And we had a 1-run lead going into the bottom of the ninth against St. Dominic. Kilker was on the mound, and got 2 outs real quick, and then we weren't able to seal the deal. Got a base hit, they tied it, and then in extra innings, they walked it off. And the same exact thing, and we were up by 3 runs against the state champions, John Burroughs. Haven't lost to a team in Missouri in over a year. We had them, we were up by 2 or 3 runs going into the bottom of the 7th. And Brady was out there again because he wanted the ball. He wanted to atone for what happened against St. Dominic. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. We gave up the lead, and we ended up losing 8-7. And that's tough on him. It was tough to put him in that situation. I really was beating myself up because, he just had a game where he gave up a walk-off homer, and then you go and you throw him back in, and almost the same thing happens. And I felt bad for him, but then – that's a learning experience.
I agree, Coach.
And he learned from it, and I really think that being in that position right there is going to pay a lot of dividends for this year coming up.
I love that because honestly, sometimes with young guys, it happens.
Yeah,
and I love that. It is learning experience, and you get beat up a little bit, but if a kid wants the ball, and then he's learned from those things, I think that just bonuses for the coming year.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got 3 guys that put in innings, solid work, and talk about who else. After those 3, where's your depth on the mound?
Well, we're going to probably really rely on Noah Gramling. I like the way he goes about his business. Last year, he was kind of hit and miss on the mound at times, but then something kind of clicked towards the end because he was the person that started the game against John Burroughs and pitched well, had him off balance, was able to keep their running game semi in check because he's a lefty and he's got a really good move. So we're really going to lean on him. We've got a couple other guys that, we're just going to – it's almost kind of a wait and see. Lucas Stahlschmidt, he's a young guy's coming up. Well, he's a junior, but he's a guy that loves baseball, and he's the type of kid that's going to compete and give you everything he has. And I know I've heard a lot of good things. He plays summer ball with Mitch, and he told me a lot of good things about him and how he battles for him on the mound. So we got him. We got Brody Anderson. We've got
You've had Matt Box has pitched some for you.
Yeah,
but that's only kind of emergency.
He was kind of emergency. I mean, he's got a really good arm. He's more of a position player trying to pitch more than a pitcher,
I got you.
And stuff.
I got you.
So he could probably help us out on the mound. But I probably would be leaning on a lot of the younger guys that could – at least give us some innings and, maybe try to keep some teams off balance.
We'll get to some of those young guys because you've got a real youth movement, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got, I think maybe, 4 seniors coming back?
Yes.
And so you've got a real junior, sophomore-driven team from what I saw.
Yes.
And usually that's kind of rebuild thought process, isn't it?
A little bit.
But I like your talent level. And the thing of it is, some of these seniors and or these juniors and sophomores from this year got some run last year.
Yes.
They really did. And then your seniors that were juniors last year, the same. Because you look at, just looking at Grambling, and we'll talk about that offensively. I mean, Noah Grambling put up numbers. Of course, Carson Quinn, his brother Kyle, these guys have been solid players for you for the last couple of years,
yes.
haven't they?
Yes, they have. I mean, talking about Carson, was on the team as a freshman, didn't do much at all, but he really took a jump his sophomore year. And then last year, he was just pretty consistent, and he, ended up hitting around 360.
His slash line is 357, 481, 548. He had 30 runs scored, 24 ribbies, and 12 doubles.
Yeah. He started hitting the cover off the ball, and he started seeing it big, and, it kind of clicked like this is my sport. I can be that guy, and because he – for as long as he's been in the program, and it seems like he's been there for 8 years, as long as he's been in the program, he's kind of been overshadowed. We had Josh Newell from, at the beginning of his time, and then you had BG that came in, so he gets kind of all the pub and everything else. But slowly but surely, Carson's been probably one of the most consistent players on our team, and he is poised to have it's hard to say a breakout season because I thought last year was a great season. But I think he's got the type of potential to potentially be an all-state caliber player. And so he leads by example, and he kind of holds the players accountable. So starting with him is just a great guy to have on a team. And then you got Noah. Noah's just a bulldog. Okay, Noah's a guy I can ride with, from from jump. If when Noah came out, he was the little brother of our catcher that was a second team All-State guy.
Yep.
And he was just a scrawny guy, but he'd come in the cage and he would just hit, and then finally we were just trying to get 1 or 2 positions locked down when he was a sophomore, and we gave him a shot. And once we gave him a shot, he was hitting those line drives again, and it just carried over, his sophomore year, and then his junior year, he was outstanding. He was if he made outs, they were hard outs, and he just knew how to play the game. And if we don't have a guy like him, I don't know where we'd be.
His slash line, 433, 524, 558, 35 runs scored, 24 ribbies, 9 doubles. And you got, between just those two guys, my goodness, that's 21 doubles.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
To have your top 2 hitters doing that, like in the top 2
getting
in the lineup,
scoring position,
getting in scoring position, it's huge. And the thing about it is they had to do more for our team last year because BG hurt his hamstring, and at points it got to a point where first pitch, Noah go hit a double, and then 2 pitches later, Carson would kind of follow up with a double, and then all of a sudden, the pitcher's kind of like, dang, I've already given 2 gap shots, and I'm not even to the third hitter yet. So those guys were the table setters for us.
I got ahead of myself because I normally go to defense, and I want to do this.
Okay.
Because I know you've got some kids that plate-wise. You lost Drew Blassingame, graduated. Your catcher, guy had been behind the plate. I'm looking at your roster from last year, and I see 2 names with catcher next to it, Dylan Schooler, and then a 2026 Nick Bueller.
Yeah.
Are these guys in the mix for that spot?
Yeah, right now, and there's obviously everything's a competition, and we're doing this in December, so anything can happen, obviously.
Right.
But we're looking at hopefully potentially having Nick be the guy. Nick has been very solid around the plate. I mean, he was a kind of if something happened to Drew last year, we felt more than comfortable having him behind the plate. If Drew couldn't do it.
Right.
So we feel good about our catching position, and if for some reason Nick can't do it, we have Schooler, and Schooler has been a solid player throughout his 4 years in our program. We're thinking, Schooler, hopefully we'll lock down the like first base and stuff, but if not, we have him to fall back on to catch. It's nice to have a fallback plan, because a lot of times if someone loses their catcher, especially a school our size, that's going to be a free rein for teams to run on us.
And Schooler, he's a senior. He's been in the program.
Yep.
He knows what to expect, right?
Absolutely.
And Coach, this, and you got it. You got a kid that in Goring. I don't know about the other two guys. I've seen him, but I don't know velocity wise. But Goring is another step. His velo is. You got to have a kid that can handle that, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you're, and then if he's got good stuff, if you don't have a kid that can handle that back there, you might lose some strikes here and there with an ump. You get a little nervous back there. You don't want to get beat up, right?
Absolutely, and that's what the luxury we have in having a catcher like Bueller coming up, because he's played high level summer ball. He plays catch, and he catches bullpens for Goring pretty much this whole fall. So he knows what to expect, and Schooler knows the same thing. So we feel very fortunate to have him do those things and just throw him out in the mix, knowing that, hey, hopefully we won't miss a beat. We're going to miss Drew, because Drew was an all-state caliber catcher his junior year. Last year wasn't the best for him, but he was outstanding for us defensively, and I believe Nick can do that same stuff.
There you go. I like it. Now let's talk a little bit about the rest. You got. I think you had Matt Box in the outfield,
yes,
correct? And you've got your outfield, I think, coming back for the most part, don't you?
Yeah, we right now. I mean, the way it's looking on paper, we have Noah at left, Box in center, and Cease in right. So, to have your starting outfield come back, that's great. And we still have some other kids in the mix. We got an Andrew Vocal that plays a tremendous outfield, and he's going to be a guy in the mix somewhere. I'm not sure as of right now where that's going to be, but he's going to be a player for us. And then we got a couple other guys that can fit the mold, but having those three guys out there, and then having, if something happens or if one of those kids are pitching, knowing that we can have Andrew go out there, that's a good thing.
Wow. I love that. Because defense, you got, and as you said, last year, it's kind of where you struggled early. It was in defense, and couldn't get the outs. I always say it, man. It's a privilege to hit. You got to get 3 outs first.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And then there's a lot of times where we left a couple things out there. And honestly, if there was just, when I think about our run and stuff like that, if we were able to make maybe one play here or throw a strike here or whatnot, we might have been in the Final Four.
Right. You got, we talked about Schooler, his possibilities at first base. Of course, we know Brennan. We'll talk about Brennan. I ain't forgot you, brother. He plays shortstop for you, as well, but then he's on the mound. Where's your infield looking at that point?
As of right now, when BG pitches, more than likely Carson will slide to short.
Makes sense.
He embraces the fact of playing that position when BG's pitching. But he'll be a mainstay at second when he's not. And then we'll have probably Brady Kilker. He'll probably be playing third or first, depending how that situation works out.
Right.
Right. And then Schooler plays first, or there's a potential of him playing third as well. I mean, Schooler's the type of kid. where if I say, hey, I need you to play right field, he's going to work his butt off to play right field.
Got it.
And so, he might be a person that plays third base too. You never know. But as of right now, the way I see it is Kilker be third, BG short, Carson second, and Schooler first.
There you go.
But we still got some other guys that could give them a run.
Hey, competition, open competition.
We got to learn how to compete.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we try to do in practice and whatnot. Everything is a competition. Learn how to win, and when you lose, let's make sure we're not making the same mistake.
There you go. I like it. Mm-hmm. You've got, we talked about Grambling, we talked about Quinn. Brennan Goring, he's a Mizzou commit. This young man, he had 421. His slash line, 488, 579. He had 22 runs scored, 28 RBI, 8 doubles, 2 triples. Matt Box, 362, 470, 420, 24 runs, 15 RBI. Your run production, Brady Kilker, as you talked about, this young man, he hit a home run, 6 doubles. You got guys, that are slugging. Not just hitting, but they're slugging.
Yeah.
Up and down, these 5 guys are slugging the baseball. Your run production looks really good.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that we really, really, really work on. We work on putting the ball in play. We, us striking out, looking. It's not an option. We need to.
I love that.
Yeah, we got to find a way to put the ball in play. And what those guys have done is they've found a way to put the ball in play. And when you talk about Gehring, he was hurt majority of the year. He wasn't 100%. I mean, he had a hamstring thing that really, really slowed him down. And he hit some balls, which would normally be doubles, that were singles. There were some balls that, because he didn't have his legs underneath him, that might have been home runs 2 years ago that were just flyouts. It's weird to say that a person that hit 421, a person that was second team All-State, had a relatively down year in his eyes, but he'd be the first to tell you that he wasn't his best self last year. And with the work that he played soccer with, he's not playing basketball, so he's been in the weight room every day working out. He is poised to have a breakout season. He wants to atone for some of the things that went on with him with his legs and everything else, and just seeing the work that he's put in, the size he's put on. I mean, there's a reason why he's a Mizzou commit, and he looks the part right now. Now, hopefully, he can put that out on the field, but he looks the part right now.
That's awesome. That's right. I remember when we came out for the Friday Night Lights, I think he was DHing.
I don't even know if he.
I don't think he played, did he?
No, he didn't play
because of that.
Yeah, if he said it was a weird thing too. He said he can only pitch.
That's right.
Yeah, but he couldn't run. He could never go full speed. A lot of times we had to pick and choose with where we pinch hit him, and then once we pinch hit him, we had to find a pinch runner and stuff. We really tried to, do right by him, by not just throwing out there and just say, hey, I want you to hurt yourself some more, but also try to do it in a way to where he can still help the team but not hurt himself. So it'll be nice to see if he can go a whole year injury free and see what we can do.
I love the fact when we talk, you do so much, and that's what we talk to all the coaches. And I think I'm impressed by what you guys do with your culture of your program. Because, you're talking about, and these were some names I'd had written at the bottom. You already mentioned it's Andrew Vocal, 2026 kid. Lucas Stahlschmidt, a 2025. You brought him up already. Yeah. And then there's Luke Bueller. I'd say that's Nick Bueller brother.
Nope, no relation at all.
No relation.
No,
well, there you go.
Yeah.
I was guessing, but he's a 2025. You've had all these kids in the program, and they're coming up. Where do you see, we've talked about the other two, Luke Bueller?
Well, with Luke, what he told me before the season that he wasn't going to play this year.
Gotcha.
Reason being, he's He's a big football guy. He also has got a football injury. I think he messed up his labrum in football. So he was, even before that, he was talking that he wasn't going to come out because he wanted to get bigger, bigger, faster, stronger for football. I told him, take your time because he's got some pop in his bat. If you're able, think about it. Come on this ride because I think we're going to do some special things. But with the labrum injury that he's going to have, I think he's going to have surgery. I think that he's probably not going to play, and that's my guy. He's one of my football guys, and I love the kid to death. But I don't think he's going to come out this year.
Okay. All right. Well, and there you go. Sometimes it's the opposite of it, right?
Yeah.
You got some baseball guys that aren't playing basketball.
Yeah.
Right.
And it happens. And the thing about it is, I'm all for it. I love the fact that he kind of didn't beat around the bush. He let me know in advance, kind of get my mind right on it. And he's doing what's best for him, and that's all we ask for these kids is what's going to be best for you. Obviously coaches have their opinion. Coaches want you to come out to help a team or do whatever, but if that's something that's not in your heart, then don't do it because we don't want you to do things that is not in your heart.
Coach, I'm looking at this. Winfield's got a bunch of dudes back. Brady Creech. You got North Point coming on. If your pitching is there, that's going to be some dueling.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I mean, up and down our conference, besides High's got some kids coming back, but they're not as well known as what they had last year. Last year they had 3 or 4 guys that could do, really, really could do some things that you were aware of. But they're kind of a little bit of an unknown. They've got a kid named Carter. I'll kill his last name. Dorklin or something like that. I might have killed his name, and I apologize, Bickle. But I know he's committed to some school, and I know a kid named Zach. He's committed to, I think, Missouri Valley, if I'm not mistaken. So, those are the kind of guys you kind of know, but they kind of got a little unknown. So the mystery of them, and especially how Coach Bickle coaches, I know they're going to be a problem. We just don't have any, stats or whatever to kind of lean on.
Haven't seen it yet.
And
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
And
we had a conversation with them, and I agree with you. You're like, whoa, that could be scary.
Yeah, and so you look at that, and then you got with Orchard Farm. Orchard Farm beat us twice.
Yep.
Okay, like I said, everybody else could probably look and say, hey, well, Orchard Farm was last in your side of the conference, but they beat us twice, and they seem like they play their best when they play us. And so they're going to be an issue. And I know they got some really good players, and they were young. And then you look at Warrenton. Warrenton has Ben Peth. He's been one of the better pitchers on our side of our conference for the past 3 years, and he battles and he competes, and he's going to be an issue. And plus, that team has pretty much grew up together. They were young, and now they're old, and they're going to be a problem. They were in line to win our conference last year, and they weren't. They didn't end up doing it. So they're going to be a good team.
Yeah.
Winfield, you said Creech. He's been a thorn on our side for as long as Carson Quinn has been playing for us. I mean, it seems like he's been there forever, but he has been one of the better players and probably one of the more underappreciated players in our area. And with him, and you got the Morris kid that, he's pretty dynamite on the mound. They beat us 2 out of 3 times.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. I lied. We beat them 2 out of 3 times. We split with them. They should have beat us 2 out of 3. We squeaked one out at home, and then they beat us there. So we split, and then we beat them in the district championship. So, and then I didn't even mention North Point, and with their size and the caliber of guys they got there, and there's too many to name, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem not just only on our side, but when they move up, they're going to be a real problem. I know Coach Hellman's got a good thing going over there.
Yeah, and you guys, what was it, 11-10 in the district championship or something like that?
It was one of the craziest games. Just with, if you look at the box score, we scored all 11 runs in 1 inning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We just found a groove and we just smashed the ball. And then that also was the game where we had a, accident in the outfield with Box and Vocal. And that was a big time situation there, which we ended up had to suspend the game and we didn't come back till 2 days later. And, wow. Yeah, it was a major deal. And, Winfield was as classy as you can be when it came to that situation, because Coach Stokes, when that situation happened, they ended up getting an inside the park home run. Nobody cared at the time. Coach Stokes ran out there and was one of the first people there on the scene when those kids collided, and it was one of the scariest moments that I've ever been a part of in any sport. And just how they handled it and everything else, and the camaraderie that they had and we had and everything else. It was very special, and we ended up winning the game. And but that was kind of more secondary to, one, those kids being okay, two, how seeing people actually be good to each other, and the fact that they were more, they were really concerned about what, how the boys were doing and everything else. So, somebody had to win and we won, but I mean, I felt like there's a lot of winners out of them, and I got nothing but respect for Coach Stokes and that Winfield baseball team.
There you go. Mm-hmm. I love that. It's great stuff. It is about the community, right?
Absolutely.
I love it because, the health and the kids and whatnot, everybody, like you said, everybody wants to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. The more I keep seeing the North with you guys, and Warrenton's always got dudes.
Yes.
They always seem to find a way to be competitive and in there, and they're there. And like you said, we talked with Coach Bickle. I'm looking forward to. I haven't heard yet from Coach Kendall. We hope to get him on again this year. It's going to be fun. We're going to be out there at the GAC.
Okay.
Classic,
mm-hmm.
and be live streaming all day. It'd be fun, and I think there's some good matchups. I think you guys have. I think it's one of the better matchups.
Is it Winfield?
I think it might be you and Winfield.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah. I mean that.
I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna look. I gotta look now.
You can look. You can.
I gotta look because I want to. I've got it in here.
I will say. I mean, coming to. There's not a bad matchup anymore in the GAC North. There really isn't.
No. And, because these will be fun because we're looking at this, and I think this gives people an opportunity to see your guys' teams
mm-hmm.
who they might not see in from the past
No.
as far as that, or, that kind of thing. Oh, do I have it in here? I thought I did. I thought I had the schedule. Oh, I know where it's at. Sometimes I got things there, so much information that we're pouring through, and a big shout out to all the ADs and these guys for, and the coaches for allowing us to do this. This is fun stuff, man. We get a chance just to go out and there it is. Watch the games. There, it's week 4, April 16th. No, St. Charles was playing Winfield. Oh, it's you guys are playing Orchard Farm.
Oh.
It's St. Charles and Winfield. You're playing Orchard Farm at 4:30, and then it's Warrenton and North Point.
Oh, okay.
To finish that off, that's a good lineup.
No, that's not bad at all. I mean,
no,
it's a great way to kind of really promote our side of the conference.
Absolutely. I think that St. Charles, like you said, I think St. Charles right there against a very good Winfield team.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got swept by Orchard Farm last year.
Yep.
Here we are, so we get that matchup. And then Warrenton and North Point, I think that's the new guy
mm-hmm.
with the blue blood.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. But I mean, North Point, they play like they're a blue blood. I mean, they're good, and they got a lot of talent, and like you said, they got a good coaching staff over there.
Well, Coach, you've got back-to-back district titles? Or did you skip a year?
No, we've got back to back to back.
To back.
We got three in a row. So we've been fortunate. Each of the districts has been a little different and stuff. All very special. Can't take anything for granted because you never know when these opportunities come back. So it's been fun. Hopefully, we're in position to do something like that again. But I mean, if our district shapes up like it did last year, it's going to be tough because Winfield is going to be a problem. They're very motivated and they're well coached.
Yeah. And, it's tough because I look back and as you said, John Burroughs, once you get past the district, you've ran into the buzzsaws of championship teams in Blair Oaks and John Burroughs. Yeah. I don't know where the other one.
We had Blair Oaks in the quarterfinals, and we lost that one. And we were out. I mean, we were outmatched in that one. Like
that was a good team.
They were a good team, and when we walked in there, it's kind of like we were, like a deer in headlights. We're just like, oh man, we're here, and and it was like 40 degrees in May, so it wasn't a good combo. But that's the one where you're like, man, we left it all out there, and we just got beat, and then we played John Burroughs in the sectional game 2 years ago, and that game, that's where, because Josh was able to pitch, but his arm wasn't feeling well, so he wasn't able to pitch, and that was a slugfest. The player of the year, pitcher of the year in the Metro last year, I forget the kid's name. He's at Air Force right now for John Burroughs. Wow. He started that game, and we hit him very well, and it was a back and forth battle, but they got. They had such a lead, and we tried to come back, and we score one, they score three, and they ended up beating us. And then last year's the one that is what's been motivating for our kids this year. But last year we thought we had a really good opportunity playing at home. We know how our field plays. We had BG on the mound against Fulton. That Fulton necessarily hasn't been there, but they came out there, and they had their pitcher that was sick. And their pitcher, I'll give him a lot of credit. He battled. We knocked him out of the game, and they found a way to win. And we weren't able to find a way to get the clutch, the really clutch hit, and everything else. So we had every team has a different story, and I'm very interested to see what kind of story this team's going to write for themselves.
I like it, and two, you think about it. Every year, those three teams that you lost to were in the Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I think John Burroughs was that year, weren't they?
No.
Or was it last year?
Last year, John Burroughs won it.
That's right.
They won it. And then the year before, John Burroughs lost to Southern Boone, which ended up winning the championship.
Yeah.
And then the first year we won districts, Blair Oaks ended up getting second. Yeah. And so you look at it, and I go tell our team, because we were struggling with confidence, and like you said, we struggled to begin the year. After that, we played St. Dominic's fine, but after John Burroughs, I was like, guys, if you don't think that we're not one of the top teams in the state, and how we can compete against John Burroughs, and at that time I was like, John Burroughs is going to be one of the better teams. You could almost book it. They're going to be in Springfield, and lo and behold, they were there, and they ended up winning it. And you go and look at their schedule from last year. You look at the teams that gave them a problem from Missouri. We were one of maybe two teams that had lost to them by one run. And, in fact, we probably scored the most runs against that team. So, that's something that they could, at that time gave them a lot of confidence, But now we got to get to that point where we're not just battling with those good teams. We got to find a way to beat those good teams.
Yeah, because Fulton was in the Final Four. I was there. I remember that one. When you said John Burroughs, I'm like trying to remember which one it was. But it was last year. And that's the thing. So, I mean, it's not like you're playing the dudes, man. This wasn't. It ain't no. You're right there, and I think it would be fun to watch you guys get into the Final Four.
That would be outstanding. We just got to go about it the right way, and so far, and knock on wood, the teams that we've had, they've gone about it the right way. There's some things have happened, and so far, we are doing the things the right way. And as long as we do things the right way, I can live with the results. And we've started. You started last year. We started scheduling tougher because when we get in those pressure situations, when we start playing these district games and everything else, how are we going to handle them?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we play the teams like Timberland and we, you know, get their butts kicked, or we play teams like SLU or whatever, we want to see what we got. And you know, we did okay against SLU. We got our tails kicked against Timberland and everything else. But all these things, what we're gearing towards, we're trying. You know, I tell our kids all the time, we try to win our conference, we try to win our district, and we're trying to go to state, and we're going to try to win that. And that's how we do. If one thing gets eliminated, like we didn't win our conference, then you know what we're going to do? We're going to prepare each game like we're going to win district. Districts is the most important thing for us. So whatever we do from here on out is going to prepare us for the time we're playing districts and how we're going to handle it. And I thought last year was one of the better jobs. Our team, our coaching staff, our coaches do a great job of preparing us for that district run. And the players took it upon themselves to prepare like they'd never prepared before. And it was awesome to see. It was almost like I was just there for guidance and they were running the practice. And that's ultimately where we want to get to.
Love it. Folks, head coach Nuru Allen, St. Charles West High School. Always a pleasure, Coach.
Yes, sir.
I enjoy it a lot. I like what you're doing. Folks, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. That was a fun one. Look, again, if you like what we're doing, please subscribe button, hit the dinger next to it. That gets you all your notifications for upcoming episodes such as this. And you get to learn stuff, right?
Yes, sir. I don't know much teaching I'm doing,
But this is the great part of it. We're getting to learn about these teams like this. I think he's got a dynamic one with Winfield, North Point, Warrenton. It's going to be a fun conference. We're looking forward to the GAC North this year. So please check us out, watch. We're going to be live streaming as well, like I told you, for the GAC Game of the Week, the GAC Classic. Lots of fun. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes. And hitters, some advice?
hit them where there ain't.
He's got it. We'll see y'all next time.